Hello, once again. Welcome back to the Substack edition of Ask Me Anything. You want to ask questions? Info's down there. We have an update, our first one. I mean, we're only 36 weeks on Substack. Our buddy Quinn Fucile, the self-proclaimed food nerd, who is looking to get into the food business while wheelchair bound, writes, I just got my first job related to the food industry. Now, just that alone makes me misty-eyed. It's the coolest thing. Quinn's dream was to have a food industry or food industry related job. I'm working for Dave Arnold, food industry god, Dave Arnold, helping with the podcast. One of my favorite people to come along this industry in 30 years. Helping with the podcast Cooking Issues and the Booker and Dax business. What a fantastic thing. Perfect alignment. Do you have any plans to be in New York this year? Of course I do. Love to have you. Oh, love to have you as a guest on the show, blah, blah, blah. Yes. But congratulations, Quinn. That's fantastic. And congratulations, Dave Arnold, and to all the folks at Booker and Dax and the team at the podcast Cooking Issues. I am a Booker and Dax customer. I am what do you call someone who supports someone on their online fundraising efforts, and then you get the product sooner than other people? I just gobble up everything Booker and Dax does. And Dave Arnold is one of the smartest and most versatile talents in our business, full stop. And if you're not listening to Cooking Issues, you should. It's a great podcast. You guys were all lucky to have Quinn. Okay, Henry writes, as a respected member of the hospitality industry, what are your thoughts on the pervasive toxic culture many establishments nurture and how it could be addressed? I've worked in the industry for 5 years in New York City, which isn't a long time for many, but made friends who've worked at Michelin-starred and world's 50 best restaurants and bars. The stories that some have certainly sound like abuse. Well, there is in good restaurants, there is in middling restaurants, there is in family restaurants, in pizza parlors, in malt shops, in chain restaurants, everywhere you go. Everyone has a bad day and the ship needs to be run tight, but it doesn't excuse the persistent abuse and lack of respect. Most places don't have an HR department, true, because they can't afford one. And it's not easy to report when the employees need the job because they're paycheck to paycheck on minimum wage or wage subsidized tips, 1,000%. The industry is one that I love and there's so many amazing people in it, but not enough visibility on those who choose to step on others for their own success. Would love your thoughts. Well, this is a big one. Let me try to keep it short. I've written a lot about it on this Substack account, my spilled milk offering. First of all, restaurants have to be able to afford, restaurants and all other small businesses that are paycheck to paycheck as businesses have the same sort of toxicity in them. Because it means they're underpaying their staff. They're relying on people working extra hours. They don't offer benefits. There's no paid medical leaves. Their perks are few and far between. And the one thing all of those small businesses, including restaurants, have in common is they have very brittle internal economies. When I came up in the restaurant business, restaurants were pulling 18-20% to the bottom line, and it was still considered tough because that profit that someone takes out of their business, half of it has to go back into the business every year, leaving very little for investors, hard to raise money. You have to make price adjustments within the restaurant. That was 40 years ago, okay? And it's so worse right now. What's the national average for independent restaurants is 8 or 9% to the bottom line. So restaurants can't afford to do that. So what we need is public-private partnerships, and we need to be a lot more aggressive as an industry. Let me address those two issues. Public-private partnerships. We need government to step in. This is why everyone in the restaurant industry and everyone who works in any small business should support national health and medical coverage, period. And that includes mental health coverage. That includes dental. I mean, we have so many plans. I mean, for anyone who even has insurance, I have an amazing insurance program, and I private pay it because I can afford to. And try to get dental insurance, almost non-existent. It's lunacy. If we had a national health program that included medical, dental, and health wellness, the pressure would be off of small businesses like restaurants all across the country, and it would radically affect this issue because they then could spend money on HR and other things that are industry relevant and so crucial. So that's the public-private partnership part. The next step is restaurants have to be much more aggressive. I happen to believe that if we went to a service charge, what time is better than now? To go to a service charge based system, to eliminate tipping, to add wellness charges, and to begin to and this is the sad part, we have to start charging what it costs to put food on the plate and not try to make up for those dollars elsewhere, like traditional, like, oh, well, let's just raise the price of beer a quarter and every drink a buck. I ran an experiment at a restaurant that I owned a few years ago. We kept the most popular chicken dish on the menu the same, and we raised the price on the most popular mixed drink that we offered, which was a house specialty cocktail. I think it was called the Saturn. It was a tiki bar type thing, and it was by far our most popular drink. So we raised the price on that drink every night by $1, and nobody ever said anything. After like 4 or 5 nights, I just stopped. I mean, I knew where we were going with this. We could charge $30 for one. Didn't matter. People want their drink. It is alcohol gets you buzzed, and people they'll pay $18 for it. They'll pay $25 for it. If it's a speed rack gin and tonic that's $9, they'll pay $10 or $11 for it. It doesn't matter. But you raise that chicken price $1, and servers were coming to the managers and to me in the back complaining that their customers didn't understand why it was an extra $1. We were still undercharging what it cost to put that chicken dish on the plate. The industry has to come to terms with this. I am heartbroken to see our food system stretch beyond its limits and to see on the news every night the horrific impact that our climate crisis, that conflicts around the world, in Africa, in Ukraine, everywhere has on food and the prices of food as it moves around the world eventually makes its way into our homes. I'm appalled when I go to the supermarket and just watching butter prices in Minnesota just climb and climb and climb and climb. It's outrageous. Chicken prices climb and climb and climb and climb. I was stunned the other day to see it. It will be worse next year. Beef, so many cattle are dying in these heat waves. Farmers are selling off their livestock. This is going to have an impact on us in the fall and into early Q1 2023. Restaurants, supermarkets, anywhere where we are selling food to the consumer, we have to start adjusting those prices and not. I mean, supermarkets just keep jacking up the price on potato chips and Coca-Cola because they know people will pay anything for it because those are addictive. They're like drugs, right? All the foods that have refined sugar that are in the middle of the market are getting their prices raised, and no one gives a shit. But when people see broccoli double in price over the course of a 3-year period, they stop buying broccoli. It drives me crazy. We have to have a united food policy on this. And so how do you get hundreds of thousands of disparate small businesses to all sing off the same song sheet. You can't. Unless, and this is my final point, you have a national food czar, a secretary level position. That means cabinet in the White House that is in charge of food. We have it. We have food doled out to a half dozen agencies and 2 cabinet positions, if I recall correctly. The time is now to stop it. Independent restaurants alone are 5% of GDP. You expand that to the rest of the food system, it's 15, 18%. It would blow your mind. You start adding in tourism and other aspects of business that touches food, it just grows from there. That we don't have a national, that we don't have a secretarial, a cabinet level secretary position for food, to me would be the smartest thing we could possibly do. See you next time.